Welcome back to Wake Up on Anchi Valley. My guest is an old and dear friend of mine who a number of years ago decided to live the Australian dream, pulled up stakes, moved to the other side of the world. He now lives on Phillip Island, which is just off the coast of Melbourne, about 75 miles or so. And he is the host of your weekly tech update with Ray McNeil. Please welcome, I'm sorry, the name again?
Ray McNeil.
Dan,
Ray
McNeil.
How are you? I'm coming to you from the future. I have a very important message. If you get this in time... No, sorry, I'm just messing with you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. The reason that we're talking to Ray is twofold. Number one, we miss him and we love him. And number two, and probably more important, you just celebrated your 200th episode of your weekly tech update with Ray McNeil on the NCW Life Channel, a milestone. Happy milestone to you, Ray. When you started this show, do you think it was going to make it to 200 episodes, much less two?
No, absolutely not. 200 is absolutely incredible. Definitely looking forward to 300 now. And I got to tell you, out of all of the professions I've had in my life, no offense to Local Tel or NCW Life whatsoever, because that was one of my favorite jobs. I have the most fun at this. This is the most exciting thing I've ever done. I get a thrill out of showing off all of this amazing technology to everybody every single day. And it boggles my mind sometimes when I meet people and they're like, I don't really care about technology.
I got to ask you this, Ray. Where do you find your stuff? I mean, I watch your show. I don't think I've missed maybe 3 or 4 episodes in my whole life. And all I can think of is, where do you find these things? I mean, the World Wide Web is the World Wide Web, but it's more than just, surfing the internet. Where do you find your ideas?
I scour the interwebs all of the time. I literally have my Facebook feed, my Instagram feed, my Twitter feed, all in tuned, so it shows me the coolest and newest technology available right when it comes out, so I'm able to get it in the show and get it out to the Wenatchee Valley as quick as possible. I gotta tell you, me being a techie and me being obsessed with all of this technology, I mean, literally, I want to see what there is every single day, what the newest stuff is out there. It's hard for me to keep up. And I understand people that aren't really in tune with tech, that don't actively search for the newest stuff all the time, that seem to feel like they fall behind a little bit. Because, man, there is so many cool things out there. The advancements we see day after day is incredible. And, of course, that's what I try to show you on the program every week, because it fascinates me. I hope that it fascinates you as well.
How do you know when you find something that piques your interest that might be on the show, that this is something that's actually going to be a going concern and not just a pig in a poke? It's just the latest thing and they put a clock in it or something. How do you know that this has, that whatever it is that you're profiling has legs, it's going to be around for a while?
It's difficult, and I don't actually know is the short answer. The long answer is that I try my best to see what is most entertaining at the time, has the most real world use cases, and that people may adopt in the future. And I try to show that off before everything else. I've got a couple of friends that are super techie that work there at Local Tel, and they ask me, hey, why didn't you show off the newest CPU architecture from Intel? They just released it last week. Why didn't you show this off and that? And my answer is because most people don't care about that. We care about what's cool, what's flashy. On the show this week, if you haven't seen the program already, we've got a Major League Baseball player went back to Japan, and he entered the stadium to be a manager of a team on a flying motorcycle. One of the coolest scenes in baseball I've ever seen. So I try to show stuff like that. That's really going to excite people and get people thrilled for the future of technology and what's going on.
Does being on the east coast of Australia, is that an advantage or a disadvantage when it comes to producing your show as far as getting tech stuff is concerned? Do you get stuff like, this is really cool, but it's in Australia and it's not going to be in the United States for another 6 months? Is that an issue?
or at the very least another day, because I'm literally about 17 hours in the future from you. So I get everything quicker here. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
I have
Not to
been
mention being upside down.
I have been engrossed with VR. I caught this bug a couple of weeks ago. Your friend and mine, Captain Tucker, brought over his Oculus One, and I tried it out, and I played with it, and I'm all over it, and I love it. I went out and bought an Oculus 2. I spent a great deal of my leisure time with this thing strapped onto my forehead. Please tell me this isn't a passing fad, because I want to stay with this for a while.
Absolutely. No, I don't believe so at all. In fact, the newest, most exciting thing with VR that's coming out, because I told you we try to go for what's going to be adopted by the masses, and PlayStation. PlayStation is coming out with their PlayStation VR 2, hopefully by next Christmas. They've showed us some of the games. They've showed us some of the hardware. It looks fantastic. It's going to be a massive upgrade over that Oculus Quest that you're playing as well. And it's going to be spectacular. That's step one, and it's just going to flow from there. Obviously, Meta is into the metaverse and all in on VR technology at this point. And it's something that I'm excited about, too. I've got an Oculus Rift S, and it's connected up to my gaming PC. It enables me to play all these amazing games and dive into these open worlds that you can seemingly live in forever. That's what they're going for with the metaverse, of course. And I think this is just the beginning. We are finally to that point where you're able to get one fairly cheap. And from here, we're just going to adopt it faster and faster. And thanks to Facebook or Meta, it's really helping the adoption of VR in our world right now.
You mentioned Meta. You mentioned Sony. It seems like anytime any significant advancement in the world of technology, regardless of its platform, is immediately gobbled up by one of the ginormous conglomerates, multinational conglomerates that then make it their own. Does that concern you from a creative or content producer standpoint, that a lot of that independence from the people who come up with these original ideas are able to write programs, and then they immediately get consumed by the big glob of Meta and Sony and Microsoft and what have you? Does that concern you? Is it that everything is eventually going to be owned by like 4 people?
Obviously, that's a little bit of a concern. I think if it did turn out to be the case in the future that, we were simply getting all of our entertainment from the 4 big companies, what would that be? Disney, Microsoft, Sony, and Meta at this point. That would be a concern. I don't think that's going to happen, because in addition to these big companies purchasing all of these smaller studios to continue their universes, we also have other companies like Steam that has their Steam game marketplace, and it enables you to create your own game by yourself if you want and release it to the world with little to no backing. And if it does good, it's going to be adopted and be pushed out to the world. That's actually how a lot of these smaller companies got into things. And then they got a little bit bigger and decided that they were going to sell to Microsoft or Sony or so forth. That is their option. Some have chosen the opposite route to say, no, we don't want to sell out. And not that they're selling out, but, and they want to keep their product in-house and keep producing it and make it bigger and better under their own umbrella. There are a lot of those that have come about because of this great technology age that we're in right now, too. So there is a concern, but I think in all the scheme of technology in our life right now is fascinating. It's amazing. And we're going at the fastest advancement rate I have ever seen. And Dan, as you know, I've been doing this on the radio and television since we met back in 2001. And every single day, I struggle to keep up with all the cool tech that's out.
Is that a good thing? I mean, are we going perhaps too fast in many respects? We can't appreciate and understand what's happening now when everybody is always jumping 2 or 3 steps ahead to the next thing. Is it maybe do we need to downshift a little bit sometimes, Ray?
I believe so, yes. One of my big beefs with technology these days and it has been for a while. I'm a Star Trek kid. I grew up in the world of Star Trek. And in Star Trek, there was no money. You just advanced human technology and the betterment of mankind because that's what everybody does. In our world now, we seem to be in this monetization dark age where cool technology comes out, and I show it time and time again on my show. But then it just disappears because somebody deems, oh, it's too expensive. We don't want to do that. It's too expensive to produce. So there's been all of these amazing pieces of tech that I've showed off, and they've just disappeared, never heard from them again because they didn't have that financial backing. I think that is the biggest worry right now. We seem to be transitioning to more consumer-grade, little tech, phone games, Oculus Quest, things that can be adopted by more people, but in doing that, we're letting it go by the wayside, all of the great, amazing advancements in technology that maybe cost, a bundle to get off the ground.
What's life been like for you since January of 2020? You're in Australia. I mean, the entire continent was on lockdown, and your neighbors, New Zealand, as well. What's that been like? What's that been like?
It's been tough. It's been interesting. There is the homebody part of me that has absolutely loved it because we are in Victoria in Australia. We were literally on lockdown, couldn't leave more than 5 kilometers from your house for about 2 years or so. In saying that, I had a lot of fun in that time that I couldn't have had when I was working 20 hours a day. But it was definitely tough. You miss out on seeing people, you miss out on getting out in the community, and you miss out on a lot of things that are basic in life. But we came through it okay. I was able to put more power into my show, which was wonderful, and we were able to spend more time straightening out our personal selves before everything opened back up. Now, everything opened back up in the middle of October here. That's when our last lockdown ended. Everybody is vaccinated to a level to where they're like, okay, everything's opened back up. No vaccine statuses required. You just go for your life. And since then, oh man, it has been the busiest we have ever been. In the past 6.5 months, our business has gone from a little business to a larger business that controls over 100 plus homes now. I run holiday home care on the island. We take care of all the holiday homes for everybody that come here to spend their vacation time. And in that as well, then we've had this great staff shortage that isn't only Australia, but it's all over the world. It's made things difficult. We've been working mass hours every single day, literally for 6.5 months now. But it's worth it because our business is thriving, and of course, it's all to make a better future for ourselves and hopefully come back and visit. That's one of the biggest pains right now is I haven't been to Wenatchee to visit in over 6 years. And I miss you. I miss the Wenatchee Valley horribly. And we literally just couldn't leave Australia for the longest time. Now things are slowing down, and I'm hoping to have a break eventually and come back for a visit soon.
In honor of your 200th episode, this is going to sound like a crazy question. I want to ask what's next, and I want to put that in the context, Ray. What is something that we can bank on that's going to be around us, we're going to use and entertain and use as a tool 20 years from now, and not going to end up in the back of our closet with our DVD player and our VHS player and whatever it may be? What's something we can hang our hat on that we can invest in for entertainment and information, and it's not internet related, but something that we can hang our hat on that's going to be around for 10 years or so? We don't have to worry about it becoming outdated in a year. Give me some good news in that respect.
That does remind me, I've got a few pieces of tech to show off for you later as well. Current pieces that you can actually buy now and get some enjoyment out of. Something out of the norm for my show. Most things you can't get your hands on right now. In answering that question, there are a few things that really have my interest peaked that I am super excited about. VR is definitely one of them. Have you seen the movie Ready Player One yet?
Yes. I'm lying, Ray. I haven't.
You got to check it out. It's a great movie, especially since you're into VR now. And it has all sorts of nods from movies back in the 80s as well. It's wonderful. But it shows this world that's kind of a dystopian future, and everybody lives in VR. So you get home, you get into your house, you hop on a treadmill, you put your VR gear on, and you're in this VR world until seemingly you go to sleep. I think we're moving more and more towards that, not the dystopian future, but hopefully the VR future, where people come home and get together in VR with all your friends and sit down in a virtual movie theater and watch a movie for the evening. That is very, very close. Second, oh man, I am so excited to be able to hop on a SpaceX Starship from Australia one day and blast off into the atmosphere, land in the Seattle starport no less than 30 to 40 minutes later. That is going to be something that's going to change our world forever, and we are getting so close to that.
That sounds like that might be the perfect time to wrap up this this conversation, Ray. I want to let people know that Ray is always on the cutting edge of what's going on. Your weekly tech update with Ray McNeil, which is hosted by, Ray McNeil, is a really cool show. It doesn't go over your head. I'm the kind of guy who sometimes, when it comes to technology, needs to have it dumbed down a little bit, and that's because I'm not particularly bright. Ray is the guy for that. He understands what's going on and what's in the future without overwhelming you with stuff. And for a lot of people, technology can be overwhelming, Ray. So I personally want to thank you for that. One more thing, Ray. One more thing before I cut you loose. As Ray mentioned, it's a 15-hour time difference. Ray is 15 hours ahead of us. So folks, get out your pencils. Ray's going to give you tomorrow's winning lottery numbers. All right, Ray, we're ready.
All right, ready. The numbers are, I wish I could. How rich would we be? It would be awesome. I want to show off 3 pieces of technology real quick before we go that you guys can get your hands on right now that may make your downtime a little bit better and may make your sleep time a little bit better as well. The first thing, if you are an old school video game geek and you remember the old Nintendo Play and Watch consoles from back in the day, really horrible games, really horrible screen, they have a new one. You can get the original, get that in the screen, the original Zelda game in playable form, being able to save it and everything on a brand new Game & Watch powered by a USB-C connection. And when it's not being played, you can have it setting an amount and it acts as a clock for you. Pretty dang cool. I love that thing. Second off, I want to show you what I've been searching for a very long time, headphones. You have a good pair of wireless headphones at home, Dan?
No, I'm old school. I got my old Sony MDRs 7506s or whatever.
That's the way that I've been. I've got my old school wired Sennheiser sitting right here as well. These are the pinnacle in wireless headphone technology. This is the Corsair Virtuoso RGB XT wireless headset. It has RGB built in, but I'm not an RGB guy, so I've turned all the lights off. It is a wireless headset that plugs into your computer or game console with a USB dongle, just like your mouse does, and you can listen to your game console. It also has built-in Bluetooth. So simultaneously, you can connect it to your phone. You have independent volume knobs for each one. You can listen to your game while talking to somebody on your phone via Bluetooth all at the same time. It's awesome. And finally, our last piece of technology that you can buy right now that you should if you haven't, and I'm saying this being a techie and literally holding out for quite a long time. If you do not have yourself a smartwatch yet, the Samsung Galaxy Watch is an amazing piece of kit. The reason that I'm bringing this up, not because of just, having a smartwatch on your wrist. Number one, I think of it as my Dick Tracy watch. You can actually make calls and send text messages without having your phone now. That is awesome. Number two, it has sensors built into it, Dan, and it can monitor your sleep. It can monitor your snoring. It can monitor your heart rate, your blood pressure, your stress level, all from this sensor built in on the watch on your wrist. So if you're looking for something that might help you feel a little bit better in your downtime, it's really nice to have all this information, especially as we get older and a bit grayer.
Your weekly tech update with my good friend Ray McNeil. I miss you. You got to come back here to the States for a visit. I miss seeing you in person. Nothing wrong with Skype, but it's not the same deal as seeing your beautiful popping eyes and your lovely family here in person. Come see us, Ray.
I will absolutely do that. I wanted to say hi to all of our friends, all of our family in the Wenatchee Valley, and of course, hello to everybody at the NCW Life Channel and Local Tel 2. I miss you all very much. Dan, say hi to your family. It was lovely talking to you.
Your weekly tech update with Ray McNeil, hosted by Ray McNeil. That's it.
At 8:30 p.m.
I love you, Ray. Take care, buddy, and keep. Well, let's not wait 200 more episodes before we talk again. All right.
From the land down under, definitely sounds good. We'll talk soon, and tune into your weekly tech update. New episodes Mondays at 8:30 on the NCW Life Channel.
And you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.